Hi everyone, and welcome to Newlyfed. Welcome to Newlyfed. Hi everyone, and welcome to Newlyfed. I'm Rivky
And I'm Jaffa.
and we're going to show you how to make all the basics in your kitchen.
All right, guys, today's episode is dedicated to my future mother-in-law. Very exciting. She is coming to town from Manchester, and I have to make lots of different Shabbos foods, and I'm a little bit stressed about it because Mikey's gluten-free, and she's on a diet, and his brother's coming also, and he likes everything, so it's pretty easy. And I asked her if she could just show me like a few sides, like things to put at the table, besides for meat.
Generally speaking, you're really not going to be preparing 4 starchy sides at the same time. But for today, we're going to go for it because we need to be gluten-free and we have all these special dietary requirements.
I like to know. Yeah.
Absolutely. So ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
I see a lot of pretty things in front of me.
You know what? These are definitely the basics.
Can I ask what this is even?
This is Israeli-style couscous. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So here we go. Right. I think the first thing that we need to know is whenever we're working with starches, I really believe it's so important, whether it's rice, whether it's quinoa, whether it's couscous, look at the package directions because you might have one manufacturer that calls for a little bit of a differentiation, although the general, if there's no directions, would probably be 2-to-1, being double the amount of water to your starch. Okay. That being said, we're going to start it off. I love to actually flavor my different.
Now you're getting technical, girl.
It's not so technical because you know what? I'll give you an example. You said that Mikey loves quinoa.
Loves.
Quinoa really doesn't have much of a flavor. But if you actually boil it in a broth, all of a sudden, that's your first layer of flavor.
Like veggies and craisins.
Right, so you can do that afterwards. Right. But if you actually started off with a flavor, I mean, think of the possibilities. So I actually have a little bit of a secret. This is like a little secret weapon that I found. I happen to have found this ranch dressing. It is so delicious.
I just add it right into
this
bowl.
So I am actually, what we're gonna do is, you're gonna measure it out. We're gonna do 2-to-1, okay? So we're gonna do 2 cups of water, and then you're going to measure out 1 cup of, wait, we're going to put it into a pot. Let's get 2 different pots. We're going to start everything at the same time.
Okay, so 1 of this.
So, yeah, a full one. Okay?
Alrighty.
Here we go. You're going to get to see some good teamwork.
Okay, 1.
There she goes.
Right?
Yepers. There
okay.
you go. And now let's get 2 cups of water.
Alrighty.
And I'm actually going to put into it this little secret. So here we go. You can do any broth that you want. You can do chicken consomme. You can do a beef broth. You can do a vegetable broth.
With this now going?
Yeah. Okay, go for it. By the way, if you're making it for a fleishik meal, you can actually take your leftover chicken soup, or if you happen to have any other clear broth, you can use that. Let's wait, we're gonna do this together because we have the challenge that we're doing
all 3
at the same time.
What's up
next?
Let's
measure out our rice.
Woo-hoo.
And the rice, we're gonna let it go just good old straight. We're gonna add a little bit of salt, but we're gonna do the 1 cup of rice, 2 cups. You know what, how's about I do the rice and you do the water?
Yeah.
You go get 2 cups of water. Just a quick FYI, because you're going to be the bride that knew everything by the time you hit the altar. When you're measuring liquid, you're always going to want to use a measuring cup. So I always love to have a measuring cup that actually can differentiate how many ounces or how many cups, but it is going to measure differently if you're working with a dry measure.
2 cups.
Check this out. So I'm going to actually use the dry measure, which we always want to top off. We want to level out. So
okay. And I'm going ahead and getting
exactly.
how many?
You're going to
2
get
cups,
2
right?
cups, okay? And like we said, always check what the manufacturer says. But for the rice, I feel like rice really takes flavor. Let's get it all the way to 2.
Okay.
Okay? And it's fine. You can turn it off. There you go. And we're going to put it in. I'm going to
straight in?
Yeah. And then just take the salt, and you're going to add in a little bit of salt.
Quinoa we don't add.
Quinoa, we already added a flavor in. Okay. So there you go. We're going to add some
salt.
There you go.
Sprinkle?
Yeah. Just a little bit. There you go. And if I love that, she's like Gordon Ramsay, right?
The salt.
Okay. Here we go. So we're going to cover them. We're going to actually, before we cover them, we are going to put them both onto high. As soon as we get them to a boil, we're going to lower it, cover it, so we're going to allow it to steam. We're going to let it go for 15 minutes. So we're going to actually do this together right over here. Let's go for it.
So I should put them on?
Yep.
There we go.
There you go. And this next one is right here. This one, this one. There we go. So we're going to hope that they both come to a boil at the same time. And we're going to go through a couple of very important rules. So many people want to know, why does my rice not work? The most important thing is let it be. Just let it happen. We're going to let it reach a boil.
Right, like sometimes it can get a little hard.
Exactly. So we're going to start it off. You noticed it was cold water, not hot water. We don't want it to be sticky, and it's so important to really measure properly, because if there's too much water, it's going to get sticky and gooey. Okay? Another thing, we're not going to help it cook. We're not going to help, stir it. We're just going to put it in and let nature do its work. The only thing that I do very often is with the quinoa, I like, only because it was a big packet, I'll actually just give it a spin to let it go before it actually gets hot, okay? But other than that, we're going to let it do its thing. And as soon as we get it to a boil, which is going to happen fairly quickly, we're going to cover it, bring it to low, and let it go for 15 minutes.
And you cover it?
Covered. Once it's ready, we're just going to turn off the flame, let it stand for 5 more minutes.
Can you eat any of these things raw?
I personally don't.
Right.
And we're going to move on to the couscous. Okay, now the couscous can actually just be made regular. This has a little bit of a different, because I did read the manufacturer's directions first. This is going to be 1 cup of couscous to 1.5 cups of water. So let's do it again. Right, we're going to do that again. You're going to measure out a full cup.
Getting couscous everywhere.
Get it all the way to the top.
Oh.
And we're actually going to do this one a little bit interesting. What we're going to do is, no, not yet. You know what I want to do? I would love to add some vegetables in there. How's about if we saute up some onions and put that in? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start the flame.
Okay.
Going to add a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
And then we're going to throw the onion in. We're going to let it go for a little bit. And we're not going to caramelize it, okay? So we're going to let that go, let it get hot. You noticed the pot was cold. We turned on the heat to let it start going. We added in the oil afterwards, and then we're going to throw in we're going to throw it in, yeah, because it reduces tremendously, okay? So, and I'm just, I think she needs me for 1 second.
2 hours later.
My girl's back, so we're gonna continue on my sides here. All right, I got the oil in.
There you go, that's
What now?
great. So once the oil is hot, let's add in our diced onion, and we're gonna let it go.
Check it on in there?
Oh yeah.
My hands were so clean.
Now I'm gonna give you a spoon. I got you OXO because you love OXO.
That's right. It's
Just
all over
saying.
my registry.
Okay, there you go. We're gonna actually just let that go for a little bit. So I have that on like I would do it even
When do I
like
put my couscous in?
medium. Well, I'm not ready. I want to get this a little bit softened. So I'm gonna say that we're gonna give it like about 3 minutes just to soften, and then we're gonna add in our couscous and let it toast before we add anything else in. So while we're waiting for our onions, we're gonna move on to our simple spuds over here. So we're going to actually just talk about how to get the creamiest inside with a crunchy outside, whether it's a roasted potato or a smashed potato, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is put the potatoes in, cover it with water, bring it to a boil, let it go until it's soft, and you can pierce it with a fork, as they say, fork tender.
Yeah.
It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and at that point, we're gonna drain it.
Is
and
that how a
continue.
person would know if your potatoes are ready? The fork thing?
The fork tender,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
And you can definitely see the difference, because if you try to put your fork in
And if
and
you
take
can't
it
pull
out, yeah, and you just heard the Brooklyn in me, because I lost that R there.
Put your fork in.
But okay, so yes, these are actually really perfectly ready to be either roasted. Roasting is so simple. We're going to take some olive oil, and we can either douse it with, like in the olden days, everything was soup mix, onion soup mix in particular. But I actually thought that we're gonna flavor our couscous with it.
Okay, so what do you want to flavor
But
this?
that's actually a very good question. We can do kosher salt, pepper, and or actually we could do kosher salt with some cayenne or some toasted yummy,
What do you
yummy
do at home? I want something that you do that's good, that I know my
something
mother-in-law's
that
going to
I
be
do
like,
at
whoa.
home is I will, let's say, make roasted potatoes with the honey mustard sauce. Sometimes I'll douse it with like delicious, like this actually would be delicious if, let's say, we took the Big Bold barbecue, which is one of my mixes, and add honey to it. And then you end up with sticky potatoes that are just like spiced to perfection. So maybe we'll do that, because why not let you get to try everything? But yeah, we don't want to let that get too dark. But I like, we're starting to caramelize a little bit, and I think it is time. Look at this beautiful leveled 1 cup.
Wait,
Let's add
I need
that
to get
in.
ready my water.
Okay, yeah, we do need to get
You
water
add that
ready.
in, and I need how many cups?
Yes, ma'am. 1.5.
Alrighty.
So we're gonna add in the couscous, and I'm gonna let it toast now. And what's nice about that is the toasting is going to make sure that we don't end up with mushy couscous, because I think
Oh, it
that
already looks
is-
delicious.
Yeah, we're gonna let it literally get a little bit golden. I'm not gonna add it in yet. So are we at 1.5 cups? Let's reduce a little bit or leave some in. But here we're good. And what I
Told you
would-
my math was bad.
No, you're perfect. You're practically perfect. I think that's looking good. You want to put it down? The reason why this is so important, oh, that is perfect, is just like we said, we don't want it to get mushy, okay?
Okay.
So what we're going to do over here is, because we're adding in a 1.5 cups, I would say I would do like a tablespoon. You know, I can eyeball it.
Eyeball it.
But let's eyeball about a tablespoon, add it in. This will be our flavoring, okay?
Smells so good. What's this called?
This is called chili lime. Give it a smell.
So good.
Isn't that great?
Oh, it's a rub also.
Yeah, it could be a rub. This is
Recipe
so
in a bottle.
versatile. And then instead
And it's
of,
gluten-free.
yes,
What's this one?
this is a hint of chipotle. I want you to give a smell. This is smoked. And it's like, instead of
Delish.
using black pepper, and this is great that we took a moment to do it, because I'm actually starting to get, if we come in close, you'll see that the couscous is, you see that? We're starting.
Browning a little.
Yep, not only is it browning a little bit, do you hear that it's like, almost like, you hear it crackling a little bit, like snap, crackle, and pop? So that's perfect, okay? I like that we're getting it golden. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add in our flavoring. We're gonna bring it to a boil, and then we're going to lower it as well. There you go.
Do you ladies hear that sizzle?
It's
What I'm
awesome.
talking about.
There you go. I love it.
Look at that color.
I like that. Yep. Okay. We're gonna let this come to a boil. I'm just putting it on high to get it to a boil. Look at how a boil, this is very important. The boil will always start at the outer edges of your pot, and afterwards you will see the boil continue in the rest of your pot, okay? But once we have that boil, we're gonna cover it. So we're gonna let this go for 8 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna try to do 2 different types of potatoes. We're gonna do smashed potatoes, and then we're gonna do roasted potatoes. And the truth is, we can even prep them pretty much with a similar dressing. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna get a knife and we're gonna just split half of them in half.
All right, here, I go for the halves.
There you go, go for the halves, there you go. Oh, how
Wow.
nice, you see they were perfectly.
Gorgeous.
And I happen to love the colors that we have here. I would actually like to get together our little marinade that we're gonna toss it in, okay? Okay, so we're gonna actually just have a little bit of fun now, okay? And you can really do this on your own. Like in other words, like have fun with it. We're gonna take some olive oil, just add some olive oil, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do is, you can always just take onion powder, garlic powder, salt, paprika, whatever floats your boat. I just like to make my life easier, so I'm gonna take a ready-made one. I'm gonna take the Big Bold Barbecue. This way it'll give us a little bit of like a smoky flavor. I'm actually just gonna open it, okay? And then we're gonna toss a little bit of honey in there.
Love that.
Absolutely, we're gonna make this so nice and sticky. And I would say, like, you know, you can do like a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, you know.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just mix it together. And we're actually going to just toss these in.
We grab that.
Okay, so.
Oh yeah.
Okie dokes. So here we go. So as soon as we're ready, because I'm already dirty, I'm actually, let's add a little bit more olive oil because I don't want it to be too clumpy. Just a little bit more. There you go. And we can even, if we wanted, add a little bit of like a vinegar if we wanted, but I really think this is
I like how
just
it is.
fine.
Yeah.
I like how it is as well. So we're gonna just line these up, and then we're gonna do the royal smash. How's that?
I'm into that.
And then we're gonna bake it. Yeah. The next thing that we're gonna do, oh, could you smell this?
Yum. I smell like it's sweet.
This is actually, yeah, but it's such a nice, okay, I'm really
I like
liking.
how easy this recipe is, you know? Like, it's just good,
That's-
easy. You know what? Oh my gosh, you know what's like great actually?
What?
You know how like you're doing it in a bowl because we have like a little bit just to like demonstrate, let's say? You can take a Ziploc, throw it all in a Ziploc and do a little shake shake.
Girl, you are talking my language because that makes prep work so much easier.
And fast.
And then we're totally,
I like fast. Easy and
absolutely.
fast.
I don't want to forget our quinoa, which definitely is ready at this point. So once we're done with this, when we hit it with our dressing, or like we said, we can also just do olive oil and spices. Like this was just like a little bit of coolness
The
that we
honey
did.
and this color spice.
It's pretty cool.
It's gonna be delish.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we preheat
We're
the
going
oven
to
for
throw it
this?
into, very good. Oh, we're on the same wavelength. We're going to throw it into an oven that is preheated to 400, and we're going to let it go now for at least 40 minutes.
Really?
You want to make sure that
So
it's
long.
totally done. And yeah.
Okay, let's get these in. I'm ready to
Sometimes
eat.
potatoes can be a little bit tricky, and if they're too hard, then you really want to let them go a little longer. So that fork tender test is so important. So let's put it into the oven.
Okay, now that we have these smashed potatoes, I'm gonna put these bad boys into the oven.
Okie dokies, preheated to 400, and we're gonna let it go for about 30 minutes and then check it. Catch you soon.
Hey guys, while the potatoes are obviously finishing, we took off the 3 sides that were on the stove top, our rice, our quinoa, and our Israeli couscous, and we're going to go in for a taste test. Join me?
Ready? Absolutely.
Okay, what are we doing first though?
Okay, so here we have a plain rice that is cooked. You see how the pieces are separating, no problem. That's what you want with rice. It's ready, it's fluffy. You can decide if you want it to just be plain rice and you want to add, let's say, a really nice stew on top of it and let the gravy, meatballs, exactly. So you can decide if you really want to get fancy and you're not going to add anything on top of it, then you could go ahead and saute up some vegetables, make a nice little gravy, toss it together, or even just put it on top of the rice. But the rice is perfect.
Let's go.
Go for it.
Plain rice, good consistency, soft, phenomenal. All right.
Rice, at its best.
Next is quinoa.
Next up is quinoa, where we actually flavored it. So it's not regular. And honestly, what you can do with this is like you had suggested, roasted up some vegetables, toss it in.
Mikey loves it just plain. He likes to eat it. Like during the week, he makes a power bowl for lunch. I'll put some vegetables on top.
It's the
and
best.
It's good.
You can top it with dressing, you can top it with gravy, you can eat it plain. You can actually use it as a crusting for your fish or for a piece of meat.
For
Yes.
fish crust?
Is that cool? I've done that so many times and it is so delicious.
Okay, you're
Go
like
for
blowing
it.
my mind. I know.
Okay, fine. So maybe not so beginner, but really you could.
Okay, that's definitely not beginner.
Let's go
I'll be
for
here
it.
again. Alrighty, quinoa.
Here we go.
Smells good.
This is a flavor bomb.
A lot of flavor. What did you do?
This was our ranch dressing.
right?
It's great.
Very flavorful.
Thank
okay,
you.
last but not least.
Last but not least, Israeli couscous. And we can see, because we just like winged this, as
It's
they
hot,
say.
like I see the
yeah,
steam.
it's really.
Alrighty. Also a ton of flavor. A little spicy
I would even
kick.
a little bit of a spicy kick because
Yeah.
we did the cayenne.
But good, no?
I like it.
It's now potato time.
Check this out. Okay.
Alrighty, I will
That was
voluntarily shred those potatoes for you.
Go for it. Go for it. I can't wait
Literally,
to see.
look at the sizzle. Look at the heat coming out of it. Smashed potato first. Oh god. Oh my god, hot.
Do you want some cold water?
No, this is so good. Oh, I taste that. I'm gonna go in for a little bite of the other side of the potato tray. Look at this, crisp.
Love that. Crispy,
Put a little blow, it's a
crunchy,
lot hot.
with a fluffy inside. That's what we're looking for. Well, folks, now you have it. 4 starches, 4 delicious ways to prepare them.
That's right.
And remember, these are just your palate. Like, in other words, you can do whatever you want to
Not only
it.
that, you really have a variety for the people that are gluten-free at your table, dietary, and adding. If you want to add a vegetable, you really have a little bit of everything for everyone.
So you know what's great?
Now my
You
mother
came
will
on
like
here.
me.
She's gonna love you. She's gonna love you. But I was gonna say, you have so much knowledge. For somebody who said that all you do is burn water, I am loving all this knowledge. Good for you.
Try here.
Another successful day in the kitchen.
See you next time.